Alright, welcome to my first video in a long time. Been off streaming and making videos for a while, but here we are, back in the fray. I've kind of moved off standard and at least for now modern, and been trying my hand at legacy, and I have evolved from Tesserator via Snowco and some blue-white standstill to this beauty, a Dreadstill list that I have been trying for a bit. This might be my 4th or 5th league with the deck, and it's been a lot of fun playing it, and it has it's been performing quite well. It's kind of hard to play, but it's a lot of fun, and I think it's quite well placed in the meta, and this is also where I decided to plant my paper flag for now. So I have bought most of the deck to play with when the pandemic gets better, and we can get back to the gathering part of the Magic hobby. Yeah, let's just get looking at the list. It's a standstill deck, so that means we are having some Shark Typhoons and some Mishra's Factories to go along with that, but we're also a Dreadstill deck, so we have the Phyrexian Dreadnought together with Stifles and the Scrolls of Fate. And we're combining this with sort of a Delverish take with some aggressive or utility creatures in the 1-drop slot that we can sneak in before we land the standstill. And we have a few counters in the Force of Wills and the Daces. Notable is also that we have a quite a nice mana base with a lot of basics. We have 4 basic islands, 1 basic mountain, 2 volcanic islands, and perfect fetches where all the fetches can get either of these. We also have a small wasteland package, or a decently sized wasteland package. As for the sideboarding, it's as per usual with the legacy decks, a little bit of this and a little bit of that. So things to bring in against a lot of different things. Things that are interesting is probably the Chandras, which is nice when we want to side into a slightly bigger deck against snow opponents who sit on their Pyroblast and Red Elemental Blast ready to take them down. We have a Brazen Borrower for the Depths opponents. Some Abrades, which are nice because they serve as both artifact hate and extra removal for Dreadhorde Arcanists and the like. And some ways to deal with the decks that go wide. I guess the Engineered Explosives and the Torpor Orb fits that bill as well. And some Graveyard Hate. And some Pyroblasts and Red Elemental Blasts. So we have a little bit of everything. So without further ado, we're going into a league. I actually managed to 5-0 with the deck just yesterday, but I'm not yet sure if it will get published. So my two trophies are with two standstill decks, one with this one and one's with a blue-white one that Brian Koval fielded in one of his videos. But this deck felt yeah, it felt very solid. We trashed all the Delver opponents. I think we faced 3 of them, and we faced a Maverick deck and oops, all spells. Alright, so let's get into the first game. Against Super Yoshi. So this hand has a lot of nice things going on, but since we bank on having the alone volcanic island, I think the risk of losing to a turn 1 wasteland is just not worth it. So let's ship this one, and this is a lot better. We have turn 1 Delver, and we have Days, Wasteland. Scroll of Fate with the Dreadnought is nice. So we're gonna ship one of the scrolls, and we'll see what we can do. So let's hope we pick up a Stifle. Lava Man, not exactly what we were looking for, but so be it. Of course I should have played the Delver in turn 1. I was so focused on recording the video, so we start off with a rather big punt. Counterbalance seems like a worthy Days target. So now we get back to playing the Delver, hoping we can recuperate the tempo loss for not playing it to start out. An Arcanist is problematic, but hopefully if we can find something to deal with it. Stifle, sure. So we have some options. We could Wasteland, which we could potentially set him back 2 lands, or we can deploy the Lava Man, which doesn't seem great since he can't kill the Dreadnought anyway. So I'm kind of thinking we'll Wasteland, getting rid of his Volk. And we'll keep the Delver back to possibly blocking the Arcanist. So this is a Jeskai counterbalance deck. So let's go ahead and stifle that one. And I'm guessing we're getting bolted, yeah. Sure. So we need to find an answer to this Arcanist rather quickly, or we'll fall too far behind. So let's deploy the Lava Man. Possibly drawing out his bolt. Alright, Teferi, sure. So his Arcanist is killing us, really. So let's kill that. He might even force this. Yeah. Which I guess is fine. He doesn't have any more cantrips. So I think I will, yeah, I'll get a Volk since I don't think he's playing Wastelands, and I'll force him to use the Lightning Bolt on the Lava Man unless he wants to lose the Time Raveler. Oh, there's a lot of cantrips. I wouldn't mind finding a land so that I could land the Scroll of Fate in a more comfortable sense, and possibly flipping the Dreadnought. Well, that's the funny. I mean, he's hardly ahead in cards, in spite of him having such a dominant game. I mean, he's drawing a lot of ponders and brainstorms and the like. But we certainly need to draw something. Lavamancer is not it, I'm afraid. So I guess we'll just deploy that, and we can activate the factory. But yeah, you can't let the Arcanist live this long. So I'm assuming this gets killed. No. Yeah. Oh, that's a lost point of damage. Yeah, I think we'll pack it up. I have no place. Oh well. So against the Teferi, we certainly want the Rebs, but I think we also want the Braid, since he's playing those Arcanists. We're on the play, so we want to keep the Daces. We can probably shave a Delver and a Dreadnought. And a Scroll of Fate. The Lavamancers. We did not see any Delvers. I mean, it's not without text, but it's not great either. So I think I'll bring one out. And other than that, we need to shave one more card. Or possibly just bring in the one Braid. Or we could cut one Force of Will. Yeah, I like that. So let's try it. This is kind of a weak hand, but I think we'll keep it since we have all our mana, and I don't think we'll be running into his into wastelands. At least we have two basics. We have a way to deal with the lightning bolt, the Dreader Arcanist with the lightning bolts. So let's just start with an island and ship the turn. Hopefully we don't have to use the brainstorm before we have a fetch land to get rid of some of the excess lands. This is certainly a borderline keep, and I'm not experienced enough to know if I should ship this. Sure. There's so much air in these decks. I mean, they're just there are so many cantrips. Alright, the true name is nice. Let's play the mountain, ship the turn. If we can land a true name, that would be awesome. If we can do it with, if he uses his mana, that would be ideal, so that we can daze him. So I think we'll just ship the turn and see what we draw. Perfect, a fetch. So now we can get rid of the excess lands. Or draw a card, counter spell out of him. That would be fine too. Awesome. I kind of want to keep one of the Volks since we drew the Shark Typhoon. I mean, basically we could actually keep both of them. We don't have to fetch. So I could put one of the daces on top and then one of the islands. And then we can use the brainstorm at a later date. So I think I'm happy to just ship it and see what happens. Sure. That's fine. So let's see if he tries to land Teferi. Counterbalance. That's annoying, but I think we'll just fetch and brainstorm. Okay. So landing a standstill wouldn't be the worst. So a true name Nemesis and then a standstill, perhaps. So I think we can keep the stifle and a braid on top. So he can set up his the top of his library if he wants to. Keeps both on top. So I think I'm gonna keep the Typhoon in case he if I manage to land the standstill. So let's start with a true name. See what's on top. We don't get to see what's on top, but we have a true name. So let's try the standstill. And he loses. Okay, so he probably thought we would play some sort of one drop. Okay, so the question now, should we bring in the engineered explosives to deal with the counterbalance? Maybe. Could be a thought of the Chandras doing work. Could do something like that. He's probably bringing in a lot of removal. So maybe the Delvers are less less good. And the Scroll of Fate Dreadnought is still planned, since we can overwhelm him with 2/2s. So let's bring out a Delver, or both Delvers, maybe. Oh, this is a tough one. So we're going big. We're on the draw, so we can probably bring out 2 daces. They're still good, since he's playing daces and we're trying to land the standstill. Let's bring out the Lava Man and see where this leaves us. So we are certainly trying to go bigger than him. This hand would have been, if this was an island, this would have been an excellent hand. Now I don't think we can keep it. Yeah, right. This will have to do. So let's ship a Brainstorm. There's certainly some tension in not being able to play the bolt of the Vista. It did not shuffle. We do not draw a land. We haven't seen any stifles from his deck, but we do not know if he runs any of them. So I think either way I do want to have a basic island, and we keep our options open whether or not we want to Brainstorm or stifle. An Astrolabe is perfectly fine. And now we Brainstorm, trying to find the second land. Awesome. We're not near playing the standstill yet, I think. We have very little going on. So we'll put that back and that braid back. Hopefully we don't have to crack the turn, because I kinda want to stand still at some point. We have a very, very reactive hand. Alright, so that means we can Brainstorm safely and then crack the fetch. That's fine. So now the question is, do we crack the turn, because we kind of need a third land, but it's possible that the standstill could draw out a force of will or the like, and let's hope he doesn't run stifles. That could be game over. Yeah, that's fine. Any card, at least it's a 1-for-1. Alright, so now we're just hunkering down, hoping for the best. Okay, he's stuck on lands. No, he's not. Awesome. So now we just need a second red mana, and we cannot attack into his open mana. Oh, that's unfortunate. Our land situation is not great. Come on, land. Perfect. And I'm not gonna jam anything into his very reactive hand as that I assume he has anyway. Alright, I'm quite happy drawing lands. We can land the big Chandra, that would be sweet. So here I think we try and land something. Probably the true name. I'll imagine that will catch out something. Yeah, that's fine. That's better than discarding a card anyway. Sure, we have multiple ways of answering this one. So we'll get a volcanic. We'll pay for the days and probably kill the so the question is, do we try and bolt him now? I think we might. I did not foresee the mentor, which I probably should have. Alright, it got down to 2 monk tokens, which is not the end of the world. No, just the one. Oh, because he killed the other one. That's fine. So let's try and land the Chandra. cast a braid. We sit back on the stifle and a pyroblast. He could certainly have issues dealing with resolved Chandra. But there was certainly a sideboarding error in not bringing in some sort of way to deal with monk tokens. Okay, so he doesn't well, no, he doesn't have any bolts. It's not for certain he has any of them left. I think if we minus Chandra, we will expose it to a bolt. So I think we're gonna plus. We'll stifle the Dreadlord Arcanist trigger if need be. Well, that's a pretty sweet one. Fine. That's not so fine. Scroll of Fate isn't bad. So I think we need to kill the mentor. Play the Scroll of Fate, leaving up some stifles and pyroblasts. And Chandra is probably dead. Yeah, that's fine. So if he attacks, we'll stifle the trigger and block it to death. Yeah, that's fine. So let's make it bigger for the life gain. We'll make a... I think we'll just leave it as is. Kind of like the stifle and the pyroblast. Wasteland is a perfect target for the Scroll of Fate. I mean, these are 1-for-1 trades. Sure. I'm saving the pyroblast for something more substantial Then I ponder. Chooses not to shuffle, so let's manifest. Let's activate. Let's go to blocks. All right. It's fine. So probably the Scroll of Fate can do some work. I mean, a Daze is certainly a dead card. So it's a perfect target for to make it into a manifest. So this is still a close one, but we might be ahead. All right, so let's counter that if we can. Manifest. All right. It's quite a quick clock as well when the Scroll of Fate gets going. Ja. Jag håller på att spela in här just nu. A counterbalance is fine. And I'm not gonna manifest that since it wouldn't change the clock anyway. All right, opponent, what you got? All right. So we managed to win the first game. I think I should have brought in the static caster. I'm kind of happy with going big on the in the third game. So I think a static caster in and possibly another delver out. Not trying to raise him since he was rather loaded with answers, but the mentors could have run away with the game if I did not manage to contain him. But all in all, I'm quite happy with how the game played. So I'm gonna take a little break and then we'll get back to round 2.